and just whoa. That may have been the fastest one I've done so far. That's crazy. And it pushes you back into your seat a little bit. It's not like crazy fast. It's around 4 seconds, but that's impressive. That's one of probably the fastest Volvo on sale right now. Okay guys, well, welcome into the S60 Recharge Black Edition that we've been testing over the past week. And if you haven't taken a tour of my full video, definitely go take a look at that right now. Otherwise, I'm going to take you guys on a quick tour in this video just around the exterior, just so you can get a little bit of a hint of what you're getting with this Black Edition model. Now this one is pretty much almost fully loaded before you can go to the Polestar package. You're getting the Ultimate package on this one and the Black Edition package. So in total, we're getting around $63,000. And of course, it is the Recharge plug-in hybrid. So it has that crazy twin engine powertrain. And I think the S60 is one of my favorite looking sedans in the segment, especially with this Black Edition package. It looks super slick, still looks really modern. And it's just a really refreshing, unique take on this kind of like sports sedan segment versus your common, which is unfortunate to say, 3 Series, C-Class, and A4. And this just is like a really fresh looking vehicle, and it still looks really cool. Love the styling. I love the black wheels on this particular model, especially with the contrasting crystal white metallic paint. And it just looks so aggressive too. Love Volvo's design. And you see all the blacked out badges in the rear. Oh, this is such a great package. Let's hop inside, and I can't forget the plug up front too, if you want to plug it in. Really cool stuff. And here we have the top end interior, so we're really getting this awesome, almost like bucket style seat, these adjustable thigh supports, Nappa leather, this kind of cloth material. And this one has the optional $3,200 Bowers Wilkins stereo system, which is, oh my gosh, it's so good. I have a Volvo, not even with the Harman Kardon system. It's just the base audio system, and it's pretty good actually. Harman Kardon, it's a nice step up. This is a must-have option, I have to say. It's really fantastic. We'll get to that a little bit. You can see your crystal shifter down here, beautiful Nappa leather stitched dash, real aluminum trim on the dash, and the build quality in here is very solid. It feels Audi, BMW levels of solidity and really nice quality in here. These stainless steel speaker grills. Oh, this is a really fantastic place. And these seats, you know, Volvo makes some of my favorite seats. It's so comfortable, really well sculpted, a lot of adjustment. I love the little Swedish flag they have right there. Anyways, let's start taking this thing on a drive. But before we do, let's go through the powertrain and all the stuff that you're getting in this vehicle. So under the hood, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Out back there, we have an electric motor. There's no physical connection between them. That engine's powering the front wheels. The electric motor is powering the rear wheels. And there's a battery pack in between all of this, giving you up to around, I'm going to say 32 to 38 miles of range. I'm getting like 11 right now because I've depleted a lot of the battery, and we have 110 miles of gas range. Total range, you can get up to like 580, 550 miles if you're driving on the highway around 75 miles an hour. You have your trip computer gauge right here. I've gotten around 34 almost MPGe driving very aggressively, so it's a pretty efficient vehicle. And your settings here before we head off. In driving, we have 4 main drive modes. We have hybrid mode, obviously is hybrid. Power mode gives you full power all the time, and you're gonna get a little bit more of a touchier throttle. Steering is a little bit sharper, suspension feedback, all that type of stuff. You can also select full pure mode, and that's gonna just simply drive in only electric mode. You can also choose to start in pure mode, constant all-wheel drive, so it'll make sure all 4 wheels are getting all that traction when you need it. I've never actually had to use that. And you can also adjust your battery settings, so you can leave it in hybrid mode, which I call auto, or I mean, I call it hybrid, they call it auto. Hold charge, which puts a little lock screen over there, and that all is really going to do is hold the battery charge at whatever percentage you have it at now. You can also charge the battery by pressing this button, and that will use the gas engine as a generator to charge the battery. So there's a lot of different settings you can do in this vehicle. I'm going to put it in power mode for now for a little bit of fun, and you have all your other settings here. You can adjust your steering feel, and if you want to creep like a regular car, you can do that as well. I'm just going to pop back into my original settings right here, and we'll head off. Okay guys, putting it into drive is pretty easy. Now, since we're in power mode, you can hear it with the engine on. Well, I'll show you what pure mode sounds like in a little bit. But putting it into drive is super simple. You can use your glass shifter, Pop it into drive. You also have a B mode, which is your kind of like extra regen braking mode. So it's almost like a one pedal drive, but not like a true one pedal drive. I think it's using engine braking as well as kind of like regen braking, which is still a really cool function, but we're gonna keep it in drive right now. And this thing really does take off. It has a lot of power. Like I said, 455 horsepower, 520 something pound-feet of torque. It's a lot of power and it's a lot of fun, but that's not honestly what makes this car so good. It's just a fantastic, well-rounded daily driver. And sure, this one comes in around $63,000, but you can get a recharge at around $51,000. This thing's crazy fast. And it's still a lot of fun too. And since that electric motor is rear driven, you can kind of like get the rear end to kind of kick out a little bit, as all that instant torque at the rear end just pushes all the power back there, and you can kind of get a little bit of a slide, especially in pure mode. I've noticed it too. You get a little bit of wheel spin in the rear end. So yes, there's that little bit of that sporty DNA in the S60 still, but I'm gonna pop it right back into hybrid mode for you guys for a second, and so I can just kind of discuss the usability of this car. Now, it is so nice and quiet in here, as you may be able to just tell. I'm not even having to raise my voice. Wind noise is kept to a minimum, road noise is kept to a minimum, and the chassis itself feels very solid and smooth riding over pavement. In my S90, obviously it feels more like a heavy boat. It's more of a luxury sedan, and the suspension and kind of chassis setup in here is definitely on the more firmer, sportier side. It has a little bit more control of the body motions, and you don't really feel that too much in corners and stuff. Now, this is a heavy vehicle. It's around like 4,400 pounds, I believe. Of course, that's due to the battery pack, but I still think it's a fantastic daily driver. And mainly due to just the smoothness of this powertrain. You never really are able to tell when the engine kicks on versus when you're in only pure mode. It's just a seamless switch between the two different kind of engines, as Volvo likes to call it. And they've been spending really almost like the past decade almost perfecting this kind of powertrain, and I think they really do have one of, if not the best, plug-in hybrid style systems. Let's actually go this way. Style systems on the market right now. It's just in terms of smoothness and just daily usability. And this one does have a heads-up display, as you guys can see up there. Not the most amount of information you'll be getting up there. It's just kind of your speed and some crash information. I believe there is some navigation guidance up there if you use the built-in systems. So it's not the best heads-up display, but you do get it in the ultimate package. I want to pop it into power mode for you guys for a second. We're going to get back on the highway. And just so you can see the acceleration one more time, because it really is strong. All our camera equipment flying around back there. And this 8-speed gearbox surprisingly is quite good, actually. It's not a ZF 8-speed gearbox. I believe it's an Async 8-speed gearbox, so I believe it's a Japanese company. But I haven't had any issues with it. Again, it all blends into that seamlessness of the engine as well as the electric drivetrain. Very well tuned. I think Volvo did this. And you know, once you're on the highway, keep it in power and hybrid mode. You don't need to be in power all the time. You still have that power available, and you pop your fantastic pilot assist on with this little left-hand control over here, and you're on your daily commute. You'll often be in pure mode, as we are in right now. We're actually using the only electric motor. And I love this little gauge here that with a little bit of like a fuel drip that kind of moves around to show you when you're in that range of turning on the gas engine. But like I said, you barely even notice that it turns on. It's so smooth. And also, this cabin itself is a really nice space to be. I kind of went through this more in my review. You have all the nice leathers and the nice materials, and I love how this shifter glows at night. It's just a really unique experience that you're not really going to find in a BMW or a Mercedes. And I think that's how Volvo really does set themselves apart even more so. Now, the one thing that I think some people, not everyone, may not like about the S60 is that it's not sporty enough. It's a luxury car at the end of the day. It's a cruiser luxury car, and you know, the chassis is not outright meant to be like a sporty handling vehicle like something like a 3 Series might be, but I think that's perfectly fine. It's just wonderful in its outright self, and it can handle itself when it needs to. It doesn't need to be this wild machine. And if you do want something that handles a little bit more, you could spend another 17K and go for the full Polestar package, which gets you the Öhlins dampers, suspension system. You're also going to be getting the just the power is so crazy. You'll also be getting the forged wheels, so those are going to be a little more lightweight, some unsprung mass, more aggressive tire as well, and I think a little bit more aggressive tuning with the powertrain. But otherwise, this is more than enough that you'll ever need. And I have to say, I actually do really enjoy driving it in this B, or I call braking battery regen mode. There's a whole bunch of names. And mostly just because it feels fun to drive, actually. You don't really have to put your foot on the brake pedal, you just let off the throttle, and you get used to kind of like that regenerative motion. So over time, you kind of like almost subconsciously plan out braking zones in your head, and you never really have to think about it, which is kind of cool. And you can kind of see how strong it is too. So we're at, I'm gonna say 70 miles an hour right now. I'm gonna fully lift off, and you'll see it's charging. We're on power mode. I'm gonna put it back into hybrid so you can see. And we're stopping pretty significantly, which is kind of cool. And I think this Black Edition package, you know, that's the one we're really focusing on here. Enhances the looks, and it really is just a visual edition package, but I think it makes it look even better. I don't like the full blacked out look. That's why I'm actually kind of happy Volvo sent me over this crystal white metallic one versus the black, onyx black one. And I think it's a nice contrasting look. So really, what is the kind of like the best way to sum up this S60 recharge? Now, of course, we have the Black Edition package, but I really want to focus on the recharge itself because, like I said, you can get it at a much lower entry point than this top spec version that has all the bells and whistles. And I think it's a really good buy to look at. You have the all-wheel drive, you have the power, you have the capability, and I love that versatility of having the plug-in hybrid powertrain versus the pure electric powertrain. So not everyone wants a pure electric powertrain these days. Oh, it's fun. And it really is more of a straight line speeder, but it's definitely fun to play with when you're driving around. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me on this video, taking a quick POV test drive of the S60 Recharge Black Edition. And of course, make sure to stay tuned to Allcarnews on our YouTube page, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. And always stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.